They like the chaos.
They like the chaos. So when you're able to
chaos,
let that chaos reign with
chaos,
let that chaos reign with
chaos,
let that chaos reign with
must reign.
All right. Welcome, guys. Welcome, guys. Welcome to another edition, another stream, another session here on the Chaos Rain Show. I am Chaos Rain here. And welcome to all new subbies, subscribers. Hope you enjoy the stream. Always give feedback during and after all these streams if you can, for those as new subscribers. The links to follow me, my social media links are the above. You can follow me on Twitter at ChaosRain7. You could also add me as a friend on Facebook, Eric Ray on Facebook. You could also follow my Rumble handler, CRain23 Rumble, and join the Discord service. And last but not least, become a member of the Chaos Rain Show. I'm gonna probably do another membership video. I was contemplating thinking about this, and I think this one is probably important to do. But you will never know unless you follow the channel. And the way you're gonna follow the channel is you hit that subscribe button and and notification bell for all the uploads and live streams here on the Chaos Rain Show. So let us begin. Oh, for people that don't know, this is a series entitled Toxic Femininity. And what you're hearing, this is the Chaos Rain Show for those that's asking. This ain't no auto-tune. This ain't no voice changer for those that will ask if they go back to replay of this. All right. Where did we left off at? Let me take a look because I'm trying to find where I left off at. And if you guys want to support chat, you could either do Cash App or the Super Chat, either or. All contributions are appreciated here on the Chaos Rain Show. And like anything, it helps further the growth of the channel in general. So where is my book? What's this? Okay, that's not me. All right, let me see how far we're going to go into today's stream, because I might do 2 chapters or 1. Let me look at this now. Where we left off, we're in chapter 15. So it looks like we will do 2 chapters. And these 2 chapters are very intriguing when I think about it. Yeah, we'll do 2 chapters. They're short, not lengthy. All right, let's begin. I'll look at the chat room periodically from time to time, because I want to focus on the content above. If you do want something more notive, or you want to have a serious question, a super chat will go further than anything else. So now let us begin. And make sure it's my volume. Looks like my volume is good. People can hear me in the chat room. That's good. Let me remove some things in the studio so I got space. Okay, let's begin. Chapter 15. Angie Stone and Tina Campbell prove domestic violence is not a one-way street in Black America. Now, this one is very important because, as you know, you always hear the notion about domestic abuse, domestic violence amongst many communities, especially here in the so-called Black community. But it also is effective in other communities as well. But predominantly, when we talk about this DV case, we always, in our minds, we think of one way that applies to DV, but we all know DV from the data and what has been presented goes both ways. But because the society is more geared towards locking up men, because men are more the serious perpetrators or the threat, or the more it needs to be take attention to in regards to society they want to control, they're always going to point the fingers at the men first before anything else. Screw if there's a woman that will start the abuse, might enact the abuse. At the end of the day, people are people, and when we talk about domestic abuse, it is a two-way street. Men just don't get up or wake up out of the bed or decide, say, I'm just gonna bust you inside the head. That's not how things work. There's always cause and effect. So let's read this out loud, and I'll read as clear as possible. So don't be patient. Like I said, any questions, y'all know what to do. And let me remove this Discord service. Oh, and I advise everybody pick up this book, Toxic Femininity. It's a very good book. All right, let's go. Let's go. Note, this article originally appeared on the Voice for Men website March the 16th, 2015. It has been lightly edited for clarity. And this is now a 10-year article, that because we're now in April, March just passed. So that's a long time. When you go looking for the truth, be prepared to find it anonymous. My previous two columns, Monique proves that diva culture is remotely to Black women, and Raheem Duvall, Queen for a Day, have on no clothes, have barely made it into the Wayback Machine when you're truly got word of two prima facie examples of precisely what I was arguing in the after-mentioned articles. Madame Minoir discussed Mrs. Stone's, and this is what I think she says in quotes. Angie Stone may be done with reality television, but that doesn't mean that she has escaped the drama. According to the WSB TV, the Grammy-nominated singer was arrested Tuesday in DeKalb County. I don't know if it's in Georgia. DeKalb. Cops were called to a home to 1,400 blocks of Roger Lake Road. Once officers arrived, Angie alleged that her daughter, Diamond Stone, had punched her in the face several times. Ooh. And the 53-year-old singer confessed that in retaliation, she struck Diamond in the face with a metal stand, knocking two of her front teeth out. Metal stand. I'm trying to remember what metal stand is. I think that's like a being a whole stuff. Yeah. She went on to say that once she realized what she had done, she turned to run away, but her daughter came after her. Ooh. A third person in the home, who has been identified, was able to break up the fight by the time police arrived. According to TMZ, Angie told cops that the fight began because Diamond wasn't cleaning up after her children. Both women were taken into custody, but Diamond was released. Angie has been charged with domestic aggravated assault. Okay. Meanwhile, hip hop future, The Source, dish on Miss Campbell. Tiana Campbell, known to the world as one half of gospel and blues duo Mary Mary, shackled God in Me, and starred in Mary Mary, a WE TV reality show that highlights the personal life of the gospel star, along with her husband Terry Campbell and the other half of Mary Mary, Tina's sister Eric Atkins Campbell. In the trailer for the 4th season of the show, a major moment came when the clip revealed Terry Campbell's trash car, which was reportedly a product of a fit of Tina's Campbell's rage, and which came after Terry admitted to having several extramarital affairs. Well, Terry, he has to have his wins and fun with the ladies, so he's gonna sit there and maybe step out, especially in the music business or entertainment business. He got money, he might have some notoriety, some status, so he's gonna be screwing behind your back. It is what it is. We had some days that were really bad, and the car is a clear indication of a very bad day. It was my car, and she thought I could have been riding around town with another woman in the car, which wasn't the case. My wife, in her pain, want to hurt me, like physically. It was Vlad TV that report that the true story behind the trash vehicle is that Tina took a gun to the car in her anger and literally unload on the car windshield and body. No one was inside the car at the time. Oh, damn. So she wanted to commit deletion. That's not good. That's not good. Oh, that's a bad look right there. All right. In both articles, I argued that not only was the adoption of diva culture a bad look for Black women in our time, but that domestic violence was hardly a one-way street issue in Black America. Black women very much had the capacity for wanton release violence that any Black man could be accused of in case anyone out there wishes to poo-poo. And above examples is mere gossip comes fondering concerning the news story out of East Flatbush, New York City. NYC, baby! Police took another teenager girl into custody Saturday in connections with the savage gang beating of a 15-year-old girl inside a Brooklyn McDonald's. The fifth suspect apprehended in the attack that was video recorded by outlookers and went viral on the internet. A sixth suspect is still at large. Two of the suspects, Talene Marshall, 17, and a 15-year-old girl whose name is not being released because she is being charged as a minor, appears in court Saturday. They were arrested in Brooklyn Friday on robbery and gang assault charges after they turned themselves in the police. According to NYPD, Marshall was charged as an adult. Okay. And I think the consent or legal age of adults might be 17. I got to double check that. Yeah, I might check that. Mercedes Watkins, a 16-year-old Brooklyn girl, turned herself in on Saturday morning and was charged as an adult with gang assault and robbery. One teen was taken into custody in Atlanta at the airport and Friday as she sat on a plane that was set to head to Jamaica. A law enforcement officially told NBC4 in New York the NYPD altered local authorities there, and they were able to take the girls off the prime of the department or before its departure. Please view the accompanying video of the vicious feminine fatale gang attack at Mickey D for yourself. And please don't forget to check out the other stories linked to the above news stories that discuss still more instances of Black women having behaved badly. Why am I bringing all of this up, especially in the context of a men's issue? Websites which I am not addressing issues and problems that men and Black men particularly could better benefit from, say, school, education, or homeless, or police brutality. These are questions put forth by my haters, interlopers, and they are quite valid. Once the following is my response. Make sure you guys like the stream. 1, because I can. 2, see above. 3, and understand that understand because it is very important for the world to know and understand that not only don't Black men in aggregate have any advocacy in these and relate matters, but that they are constantly being male-gated, misrepresented, and portrayed in the worst possible light, regardless as to the evidence. All right, 1 second, guys. Evidence. Okay. Hold on. All right, hold on. I was just checking something for a second. All right, let's continue. As AVAE or AVFM readers are astounded of commentaries, Mr. Jack Straub points out the notion that black men being solely responsible for DV in Black America is a big, fat, stubborn lie. And I'm not saying that men are not violent, but when they portray this and push it forth in the media, it is somewhat questionable. Very questionable. I mean, I think a good portion of black men now, to those that are still committing DVD. Matter of fact, just now before I started this stream, I saw a video of a football player choking out his girlfriend. And the funny thing that comes to my mind is, how is it that there is a videotape right there placed somewhere, I don't know if it's in the house, showing him recording him holding his girlfriend, I think his girlfriend, hostage, where he has to put the chokehold of God in her, where she passed out. And it makes me wonder, it looks like she, instead of her, and I know it sounds effed up, but let's keep real. If you're in a serious domestic abuse where your mate is just putting his hands on you because of small things or ways of him express himself to the point where for him to sit there, get what he wants from you, he has to physically be violent to you, it's time for you to end that relationship and walk away. I think enough women are not doing this, in my opinion. Especially the more the money the man makes, like these football players that are very aggressive, the more they'll tolerate nonsense. And I'm calling bunk. You stay in it, you're confined, and you're happy with it. End of story. Let's keep going. Cause I don't like that, man. Usually, if you deal with somebody that is violent, the first you do, you should be leaving that relationship as soon as possible. You should not be staying it because of it. All right. Wendy McLaury a domestic violence statistics bogus. A dominant voice on victim advocacy and research on domestic violence stands accused of what they call fabricating data, or fairly fabricating the data. Jocelyn C. Campbell, a professor in Johns Hopkins University School of Nursing, is accused of fabricating key statements about domestic violence and then represents the statement as finding of a government survey. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's keep going. On January 14th, the victim advocacy organization Stop Abuse and Violent Environment SAVE, in short, filed a formal complaint with the Office of Research Integrating of the Department of Health and Human Service. SAVE want the unit to investigate those allegations of research misconduct by Dr. Campbell and his colleagues. And it takes approximate corrective actions as of January 31st, not sure what year this was, has been rejected, and the rejection is being appealed. Specifically, accusations in two highly respected journalism or journals, Campbell and various colleagues claim that the leading cause of death in the United States among African American women ages 15 to 45 years was homicide in the American Journal of Public Health, volume 93, number 7 and 2003, page 1089. So that's 1089. The deaths were described as femicide and homicide, or femicide and the homicide of women in the National Institution of Justice, NIG, journals of 2003. That's now about to be 22 years now, depending on when this was. No, actually, it's 22 years now. Page 18, the deaths were ascribed to intimate partner violence or domestic violence homicide. Attorney General Eric Holder repeats the domestic violence version of the statistics in a 2009 speech. He states, disturbingly, intimate partner homicide is the leading cause of death for African American women ages 15 to 45. The statistics was posted in at least two places at the Department of Justice DOJ website or the conservative feminist Christian Hoffman Summer took exception. In the U.S. Today, February 4th, 2011, that's 14 years ago, she wrote that the horrified statistics and it would be a shocking reflection of the Black family in America society generally if it is where true, but if isn't true. Over let me see. Over 2 years later, the Washington Post fact checker columns and culture might investigate Holder's statistics and publish his reality, and Kessler wrote. Next page. Hold on. The CDC dates showed that for the year 2008, the year before Holder speeches, cancer, heart disease, unintentional injuries, and HIV/AIDS all top homicides. Okay. Then if you break the intimate partner homicide, that ends up being 7th or 8th on the list, depends on whether you also include all homicides. As a part of comparison in 2008, yeah. Okay, 7, 8 of the least dependency whether you're also including homicide. As a basis of comparison, in 2008, cancer kills 1,871 Black females, heart disease 1,629, all homicides 326. Okay. One simple had to ask, if we know these stats are indeed bogus, if we know and proved by eyewitness cell phone video cameras and reality TV shows, which really are reality TV shows, and too much people watch reality TV shows now I think about it. They shouldn't, but that Black women can and will be quite violent. Why does the dangerous Black male myth persist? Why are Black feminist activists and others still pushing this BS line of reason argument, which really means bullshit? As AVFM editor's chief Mr. Paul Ellen recently noted in his column concerning trolls, not only is it hugely important for men and women to speak truth to power on these and related issues, but that the mere act of doing so is powerful in a way many may not realize. All right, let me take a look what's going on here. Take a brief break. All right, almost there. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Likes are free. All right. Man. Hope you guys enjoying this so far. I know I am. All right. You want to know what this movement is about. Is it very, very simple, in my opinion? The MHRMI I envision is about one simple thing: talking or taking without fear of what do you call it? Copulation. Seriously, that is it. And it is about nothing more than people talking to each other openly and freely in a world of advanced way, I think they call it. A world that does not want them to neither or nor AVFM as a legislative agenda, nor any politician to endorse, nor lobbyists to accomplish, because none of that is of any value in a society that still refuses to accept reality. And reality is this domestic thing is both ways. So those that don't know. All right. All right. Sure, if you look at our mission statement, you will see many items that will require politician and judicial remedies to ultimately accomplish. That, however, is not our job to AVFM to accomplish. Directly, our job is to our job is to push society to a place where it is able to sustain narrative change that will in turn lead to substance problems solving. As a black man of blue collar roots, it is hugely important for me to speak loudly and clearly about matters I care about. I care about black men like me who have been cowed into silence, and in some cases shame, about what this and related articles of mine. You all know that already. And ask us and all right, cow and silence, and in some case shame about what this is and related to other articles. Articles and mind talk. I want to create a space for black men like me to really start speaking the heck up. I want to inspire other black men to speak the heck up. And doing so, I will create even more space to address the problems and concern trolls cry crocodile tears over and over and over and over and over. It's an over. It's over and over. I also do this because I want to drive home the point that yet again, black feminism has utterly failed black women. It has no answer for the diva culture or the well-documented rise of violence and antisocial behavior on the part of black women. Indeed, if anything, it may have contributed to the both in our time. And for those who attempt to argue that what I had or what I and others citizens know of Black Americans, like Mr. Tommy Sotomayor, for example, are reality. And for those who attempt, I also do this because I want to drive home the point and failed black women. Okay. Find antisocial behavior a part of the black women. Indeed, anything it may have contributed to both in our time. And for those who attempt to argue that what I and other all right, yeah, I read that right, are really only talking about ghetto sisters, let me, what do you call it, disabuse you of that, or disavows you of that. As Solange knows, shown us last year, in the case of Monique, Angie Stone, and Tina Campbell, shows us currently, diva culture and violence act on part of black women are something that is hardly limited to the lower class. Indeed, it doesn't take one long to find much evidence of these behaviors being very much system-wide throughout Black America. It is no respect of class. Not all black women are like that, but enough of them are like that. It really is that simple, and so are the solutions. Me speaking on it, calling it out for whom what it is one of them. And these are articles that you can look up to if you get the book. All right. Let me go back. Man. So that's the end of chapter 15. And that you know, it's funny with class. A lot of people say and really think and believe, not know, but believe that when we see ghetto culture, or let's say black people in the streets, or black women, right, out there fighting, right, like literally, we only think it's just a lower class issue. No, this is a general class within this culture, within the race of black folks. Like literally. Like literally. What's this? Hold on, guys. And for me to understand this, right, I've seen it through social media, and I've actually witnessed a few in my actual lifetime and present day. And we got to be more smart to this, to think that this is only a thing that you see in lower class, that you see women, especially in our group, will be violent towards each other or towards a man. No, this happened both ways, and not only both ways, but you see the celebrities get down with it. That supposed to be the more higher echelon of a class / tax bracket, but that's not the case. That's not true. That's not true at all. So, what I would say is a proper solution for this. Well, if you a woman, young or older sister, right? If you come across anybody that's violent in your family or violent friends, whatever reason, for no good reason, it is your sole rightful duty to cut them off. And I'm not saying cut them off because you don't want to get caught in the crossfire, but you should cut them off because violence in its essence, in its entirety, should be the final precaution a person should take. It should not be the first thing they initiate just to make a point or try to, intimidate or fear bait somebody. It should be always something that you're there to protect your own butt. And you don't want to sit there because someone called your name or will walk up to you and, will say some harsh words. And the first thing, your reaction is to take your fist or your hand and give them one slap in the face or punch in the face. No, that's not gonna work. All right. What else? So now we're gonna look into chapter 16, and this probably will be the last chapter before we conclude this. Chapter 16. Hold on, let me see where we're at here. All right. Will Brittany Garner get the Ray Rice treatment? Now, I'm not sure what they mean by that, but let's read it. And, Brittany Griner is a WNBA basketball. She's like a 6'8" center. This chapter originally appeared as an article on the Voice for Men website, April 27, 2015. It has been lightly edited for clarity. By now, I'm sure you heard WNBA star center Brittany Garner has been in a who's gras for going upside the head of her fiance. Fellow WNBA star Gloria Johnson in a rough and tumble that would make Rickson Grace blush. The happy couple was arrested by a Goodyear, Arizona police, and according to the AVFM sports editor by Todd Henry, the WNBA is currently obtaining more information into the event surrounding the arrest of their two marquee players. Just for the record, it has been suggesting that it was Garner who has the aggressor arguing with Johnson for several days before the brawl broken out in their Phoenix area home, where a man attempts to break up the two himself, getting hurt in the process. Yeah, I mean you hurt yourself if you're a small dude and you try and deal with a woman, a sister that's over 6 feet, roughly 6'8", you got props. You better make sure you got some muscle, dude, man, because she gonna jack you a little. You know the rest. Come on. All right. According to her Wikipedia page, Garner is 6'8", almost 200 pounds, while Johnson weighs a mere 170 and is 6'3". That is important because the argument goes, at least when it comes to straight couples, that the reason why the focus is on men involved is due to their inherent physical size advantage they have over women. Of course, that goes right out the window when lesbian couples where one more or less taken on the more masculine role is being considered in. All right, so let's get right to it. One can't help but recall last year hot story where on Valentine's Day weekend, the NFL star running back Ray Rice punched out his then fiance Janai in an Atlantic City casino and resort elevator before all the facts were in. Rice was quickly suspended from the team, then booted from the Baltimore Ravens football club, altogether, and then was suspended indefinitely from playing in the NFL ever again. An enormous push on the part of social justice warriors and black feminists descended onto the NFL, imploring them to make much more noise about domestic abuse, and held out Rice as the whipping boy of all that is wrong with the league's culture of toxic masculinity. Very toxic. And mind you, there are books on toxic masculinity. For those that don't, there are some books. This is one of very few books that focus not on men but women and the toxicity these chicks display not only on themselves but also towards man. Very misogynist or misogynoir, for lack of better words, if you think so, if you really look into it. As Rice would go on to say, a year later he was nearly brought to suicide as a result of the CYA lunch mob mentality and actions on the part of NFL Commissioner Goodell and company. The NBA seems to have followed suit, airing ads about the need for men to lean in and have a conversation about domestic violence and the like, seen most permanently during the Fame All-Star weekend that took place in NYC earlier this year. So it is very interesting that its sisters organizations and WNBA now has to grapple with the very issue with which they have been ranking male fans and players over the coals. Yeah. The questions are obvious. Will Garner be suspended from the Phoenix Mercury pending results of a full police investigation? Will she be released from the team due to the bad image Garner has given them? Will the WNBA identify indefinitely suspend her like the NFL has done Rice? And if not, why? On what grounds? More question. Will the WNBA now predominantly display adverts, discussions, the facts about domestic violence as they pertain to lesbian couples and urge awareness of the same to their lesbian fans and players? Will the WNBA now have lesbian anti-domestic violence advocacy and workers were there the school and train in personnel and staff on the issue? Will there be an all manner of armchairing psychologically profile of Garner in the press in the manner done by Rice? The accounts or to account for her abuse actions. After all, it is a matter of public record that Garner has report being bullied as a child, a classic tale of an abuser, if not why. These are very much good questions. These are very serious questions. I'll give you the answer to all that. The answer is hell effing no. They will never do that. Never do that at all. No. And the reason why that is because women on women violence is acceptable. It is the norm. Matter of fact, it's expected that a woman will go upside another woman's head and they'll duke it out. And the one that comes out unscathed will the victor will be the victor. Yeah. What's this? Even more questions. Will Feminista Jones write about the ill of domestic violence as they portray or pertain to the Black lesbian community? In Times Magazine, will Kimberly Foster and her team at Fort Harriet do the same? Will Cal Nicole Gross, PhD, pen at least one column about the dark side parting the pun of Black lesbian love in the August Hoffman Post? And will Brittany Professor Crunk Cooper speak on it from her perch at salon.com? Keep in mind, everyone, that's a major plank of the Black Feminist Manifesto, going all the way back to the, what they call it, Combanian River Collection more than 4 decades ago, or Combanian River Collective. I think that's how I pronounce it. Or Cobain. All right, Cobain, whatever. With Black lesbian women, today, Black internet feminists proclaim loud and long their allegiance to the LGBT community. In the Black America, well, now is there a time to really pop up and or shut up, will they? Now, let's keep it brutally 100 here. I think we all know that to ask the question or to answer them. None of these folks, nor the WNBA itself, gives a damn about the truth or fairness or justice. They all care about their own bottom line and the ideologies they nurture and harbor. In that order, and if we learn anything coming out of the Ray Rice affairs, is that piling on men and men alone. Recall the fact that Jalen Rice herself has gone on record of saying that she was just as much at fault as her now hubby Ray. And what went down that night in the elevator is big business in America. Nothing will be said about the current Brittany Garner issues because it doesn't fit the narrative that only men alone can be aggressors, never women under any circumstance, even if it is a lesbian couple who are dunking it out or duking it out in the middle of their own living room and full view of witnesses. That's deep. That's deep. If you think what happened to Stephen A. Smith in the wake of Ray Rice's story was bad, can you imagine what will happen to him if he were to dish Brittany Garner's issue in his signature no holds bar tell like it is, TIZ way, he won't just be fired. He'll be waking up to what do you call it? Calvary Hill and crucify. I predict the Brittany Garner story will quickly go down the rabbit hole because it doesn't exhort the right people or exonerate the right people. And I further predict that black feminists will act as if nothing ever happened, even when prompt to discuss the matters. And oh, believe me, I will be prompting them just so it will be on the record. Follow me on Twitter to see all the actions yourself. You heard it here. Count it. And no lesbian partner violence by a fact sheet. One bit. Let me see if I can find this right here. Look like there's a source. Let's look at this source. Interesting. And there's an article. Oh. Yeah, there's an article here. And this one needs to be examined. Well, I think I found something that was recently new. Interesting. This is going to have to be looked at. All right. Let me see how long. Okay. Yeah, we'll probably take a look at this in future shows. All right, I'm gonna keep that there. And this is by Carolyn M. West. Let me see if there's a picture of this woman. Yeah, I'm gonna highlight her picture. Yeah, we're gonna do that. All right, let me highlight her. All right, that's all I need. Okay, let me go back. All right, let me go back. All right, so that's it. Let me see what's going on here in the chat room. So, guys, there you have it. And on make sure I highlight where I last read off. So that's it for there. There's other chapters which I will continue in the nearby, future of this series. What says you guys? One thing that was noted throughout the two chapters about violence, both domestically, the men, and domestically women, or like say, i.e., women on women action. It is very telling that there is a sense of double standard in regards to physical violence. And I reject the notion of this double standard personally, because what I've learned about these standards, right, is it's kind of getting dangerous, especially when we talk about physicality between man and woman. Men and women should not be fighting each other physically for whatever reason. The last thing you want to do as a person is to resort violence to get your way or make a point. You want, as a person, refrain from violence as best as possible. You, man, if you're in these relationships with these ladies that are violent, and I hate keep repeating this, but it needs to be said, you need to end that relationship. You should protect yourself, but also end that relationship as soon as possible. You should not be in a relationship as a man. As a man, if you're doing what you should be doing as a man, providing what you can, love, financial stability, or whatever to your mate, and in return, your mate wants to dispute physical and may verbal assaults to you for a reason. If she has a resort that, I mean, she's a woman that is not stable mentally, and she doesn't have no type of communication skills to deal with you and communicate the problems she has with you, effectively. They always talk about men should be emotional, what do you call it? Emotional intelligence. But I think women need to be more emotional intelligent themselves, because a person that's talking about emotional intelligence, I could really conclude that you don't have no emotional intelligence, because in my assessment, people that's pushing that are the ones that don't know how to communicate, or very much expressing their thoughts or their views towards the opposite sex properly with logic, reason, and emotion. So be careful when you hear ladies talking about emotional intelligence, fellas. And you ladies, you know the deal. You're in a violent relationship. You don't need to stay in that. You should have been gone a long time ago. If a man's busted side head for small things, or big or small things for whatever reason, and he has to use physicality to get you either in control or to make a point, maybe you should pack up and leave that relationship. Yeah, maybe you need to explore that. Anyhow, what's your thoughts, guys? Do you believe in the domestic violence? Is it one side between men and women? And do you think and believe that women violence, especially when we're talking about women that are lesbians, that's in these relationships, are the most violent out of all groups, subgroups? Leave your comments below on this one. The links to follow me are the above. You can follow me on Twitter at chaosrain7. You can add me as a friend on Facebook, Eric Rain on Facebook. You can also join my Discord servers as well. And what else? Discord servers. Oh, become a member of Rumble, or follow me on Rumble, CRain23 Rumble. And last but not least, become a member of the Chaos Rain Show as well. So, that's it. Thank y'all for watching today's stream. Leave your comments below on this one. Like, comment, and subscribe to the Chaos Rain Show. Until next time, and I mean next time, let it chaos reign.
They like the chaos.
They like the chaos. So when you're able to
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
Must reign.